Guys, I know you may not believe me, but I think I might have found the one good New 52 movie. Seriously, how long did it take to get one that's at least slightly above average? Like 8 tries? Around the world, people are going insane, saying that they see other people as demonic entities. While the Justice League tries to stop these deranged people from harming others, it quickly starts to overwhelm their limited numbers. Trying to get a grip on the situation, the League proposes that the affliction is magical in nature, which Batman categorically denies before storming out of the conference. From here, we're introduced to 4 core characters. John Constantine is a superhero in the loosest sense, carrying a devil-may-care attitude and dealing with occult threats using his own magic and the powerful House of Mystery as a home base. He defeats the Demons 3 and wins the majority of the Dreamstone, alongside Jason Blood, a knight from medieval times who is magically bonded to the demon Etrigan after he was killed by the villain who called himself Destiny, and can shift between the two forms and is looking for a way to separate himself from Etrigan. Batman is contacted by Deadman, a former trapeze performer who is murdered during one of his acts, only to be blessed by a goddess and given a spectral form and the ability to possess others. Using his limited physical presence, Deadman gets Batman to seek out Constantine, and to do so, he goes to Zatanna, a young stage magician who also happens to be one of the most powerful magical forces in the world. Once they're all brought together, they seek out various people and do various magical things to discover the nature of the affliction. Constantine and Zatanna try to work out their strained relationship. Deadman is attracted to the manifestation of the House of Mystery, which
decided it wanted to experience humanity and gave itself a body.
It sure did.
Just go with it, and Batman is along for the ride. Literally. They drop by an old friend named Richie to get a magical artifact needed for a spell, and when they return to him later, he's dying of a magically induced cancer-like disease. They take him to the House of Mystery to recuperate, and then seek out Swamp Thing to have him take them to who they believe is the source of the affliction, Felix Faust, a dark wizard that the Justice League previously tangled with. After a prolonged battle where Zatanna nearly loses herself by delving into particularly powerful dark magic, they discover that Faust wasn't the culprit. Instead, Richie is the villain, which the heroes discover when they return to the House of Mystery, where he reveals he had the missing piece of the Dreamstone, believing that with its power, he would be able to cure himself. Except I lied, because he was lied to by the residual soul of destiny that resided in the small piece of the Dreamstone that he had, and his body becomes possessed by the near god, who then goes to wreak havoc on the world. When the ragtag group of occult heroes and Batman arrive, they're immediately assaulted by the Justice League, who have fallen under the same affliction as the rest of the world. And though Swamp Thing and Etrigan are both defeated and separated from their human hosts, with a little bit of help from decent tactics, Constantine helps Deadman possess Destiny long enough to make him drop his shield, where Jason Blood, now fully human, then stabs and kills him with Etrigan's sword. Constantine uses a spell to destroy Destiny's soul, Jason Blood finally dies now that he and Etrigan are two separate beings again, and Richie is dragged to hell by wraiths. After Etrigan disappears, Zatanna reveals that she and Constantine were invited into the Justice League, and while she assumed that he wouldn't be interested, he offers to have them talk about it over a drink, which she accepts. Deadman also hooks up with the house, I guess. Roll credits. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, the biggest issue this movie faces is its pacing, which can again largely be blamed on the short runtime. In some ways, this movie feels like it's missing a second act, with good character introductions and good ending sequences and action scenes, but no really good middle portion. The closest we get is the scene with Constantine and Zatanna discussing themselves and their prior relationship when they're sifting through a guy's memories, which is a good scene, but that's all we really get of developments before everything is resolved. In general, this movie is not for the thinking crowd. It is perfectly comfortable to just be an action movie with fun characters, and doesn't try and give us any deeper meaning or claim to be any kind of high art. So if you're looking for that kind of movie, then this will provide it in spades. Because as an action movie, this is the best one we've gotten since Flashpoint. It has all of the essentials down pat, with an intriguing setup with the afflictions, hinting at a more delicate issue than just the next world-ending threat, and then solid and then more than solid character introductions for our 3 new members. Even if Deadman's backstory is kind of awkwardly placed, it is still good in and of itself. From there, we have plenty of rapid-fire developments, the dialogue is above average, and it leads to not 1, but 2 absolutely incredible-looking action sequences. The fight against Felix Faust is bar none the best action scene we've gotten in the New 52 thus far, with clear stakes, constantly shifting tides, good use of teamwork, and using every character's skill set well, and the direction is absolutely timed top tier a lot of the time. Jay Oliva has been the director for much of the New 52 era of the DC animated original movie catalog, and while I will always make fun of that Green Lantern scene in War, it's clear the difference in skill and just how much he's grown as an animation director when comparing that movie to this one. And that's not even mentioning the supremely talented animators themselves that knocked it out of the park like 80% of the time. The other 20% is the usual schlocky corner cutting, but I'm in a generous mood today, so I won't hold it against the movie too much, especially considering how long some of these shots must have taken with their complexity. The only issue with the Faust fight is that Zatanna's ultimate power has only ever been hinted at once, and that was only that she doesn't like delving into dark magic, not that she was this powerful when using it herself.
I've never liked this sort of magic. I can feel darkness seeping inside me. How you stand it is beyond me.
It's all about control. If you ever need a refresher.
We've had this conversation. I haven't changed my mind.
However, I'll give it a pass because of the rule of cool and that it was just so well done from a technical perspective. The follow-up fight against Destiny is good too, though it doesn't quite reach the same heights in terms of direction save for the duel between Destiny and Swamp Thing. On the dynamic side of things though, it's just as good if not better, with warding off the Justice League, to Constantine pulling out all the stops and pulling on all his favors, figuratively speaking, by sicking both Etrigan and Swamp Thing on Destiny, and the tension spikes as each plan fails in turn, and Zatanna can't help because she's busy with the Justice League, so that's out too. I don't think I can overstate enough how refreshing it is to have the heroes win not with brute force or teamwork, but with intelligence. There's a reason why Dormammu I've Come to Bargain has become so iconic, because it was a really unique ending to a superhero movie. And just as a final point, the voice acting in this movie, for the heroes at least, is incredible. Matt Ryan is perfect as Constantine.
All those in favor of storming this cove and taking this ship, stomp and shout aye! Aye! Those who oppose, whimper nay.
Whoops, wrong thing. Camilla Luddington is great as Zatanna.
But this isn't about you. This is about humanity, about protecting what it means to be human.
Whoops, wrong thing. Ray Chase is also pretty good as Jason Blood, so there's that.
Even as the darkness overcame our world, we kept the light alive in our hearts. We've all lost friends and loved ones along the way, but the one thing we never lost was hope.
Whoops, wrong thing. As well, Zatanna herself is worth talking about to me for her redesign. Gone is the traditional stage magician getup, and in is what looks like the underbelly of that uniform, with the more casual underclothes that performers put under their costumes sometimes. I really like this redesign, with the different layers of the shorts over the leggings, and I'm always a sucker for the arm sleeves, guy or girl. I mean, this isn't my favorite iteration of the character. That would probably go to Young Justice's first season because she's adorable there.
Good. Emit Odiort, 2-0 Edwin, cool!
But as the age-appropriate Zatanna, this is probably the one I'd pick over something like the DCAU, and she at least has a lot of potential for growth and development in future movies, including her budding romance with Constantine, her connection to dark magic, and maybe even her finally overcoming it. Or not, because she doesn't appear again until she dies in Apocalypse War, so me, I guess. And on Batman, I mean, I'm supposed to be mad that he's here, and yes, he really shouldn't be. In a movie about magic, possession, and the occult, a guy throwing batarangs does not belong. And while I can very easily say that and knock the movie down for it, the movie kinda gets it. It knows that the only reason Batman is here is for marketing purposes. Almost every time the magic characters run off to do magic things, Batman is often left in the dust, and he always does. And I mean, it's funny. It's funny that the movie is self-aware in that way, so I'll give it a pass, but just this once. Just this once. No more. Overall, Justice League Dark is the best the New 52 has been since Flashpoint. While it isn't deep by any metric, it's an incredibly fun ride with a great cast of characters brought to life by stellar voice acting. Jay Oliva finally feels like he's coming into his own with this whole animation director thing, and as such the action in the film is a feast for the eyes, with great use of environment and team dynamics, ragtag as the team in question is. So, what's next? Oh no. Oh God. I'll see you guys next week.